Benchmark Assessment System, introducing a new reading assessment tool to Lambton Kent District School Board. To support a student's reading development, teachers are interested in learning more about a student's oral reading skills and their comprehension of what they read. Teachers often access a standardized reading assessment to learn more about their readers' strengths and weaknesses. Currently, DRA is an assessment tool that's available to Lambton Kent educators. We are introducing the Benchmark Assessment System, or BAS, to Lambton Kent educators today. In the fall of 2021, teachers will have a choice of which tool to use. The Benchmark Assessment Systems will come as boxed kits to your school. There's a kit for BAS 1 and a kit for BAS 2. BAS 1 is used in kindergarten to grade 2 classrooms. Within the kit, there are texts, and they are leveled A through N. BAS 2 is used in classes grade 3 to grade 8 and includes texts that range from L to Z. The Benchmark Assessment Systems provide material and procedures for observing and assessing the reading levels and behaviors of students. It is directly linked to the Fountas and Pinnell levels of text A through Z. Within the kit, there are resources to help teachers to administer the assessment. The assessment guidebooks give you an overview of the assessment, coach you through the administering, encoding, and scoring parts of the assessment, and give you some examples on some case studies. The assessment forms book is a collection of blackline masters to help you perform the assessments, like the student recording forms for each text level. There are also some additional assessments in there, like vocabulary assessments, phonemic awareness assessments. The assessment forms will all be available as digital resources. Teachers will be able to download these digital resources using their LKDSB access. One question you may have is where to start the assessment. The examples I'm going to show you will follow the path through the BAS 1 example, but it is identical for BAS 2. If you know a student's text level, you may begin the assessment at that text level. If you're unsure of that text level, use the Where to Start word test as a starting point. You will give the students the Where to Start word test, which is a list of 20 words that they will read to you, and you will keep track of their accuracy. There's a Where to Start chart, so you will use that as to guide you as to what your next step is. So we began the assessment with word list 1. The student had 20 out of 20, so the chart tells us to go to word list 2. We assess them again with a different list of words, and this time they scored an 18 out of 20, so the chart indicates that this H would be a good level to start at with this student. In the kit, you will have a fiction and a nonfiction choice for each text level. Students may choose which book they want to read. You will then begin the assessment. It has 3 components: an oral reading section, a comprehension conversation section, and a writing about reading section. The writing about reading section is optional. Oral reading. This is where we're looking for accuracy and fluency. You will use the recording form to keep track of the text as the student reads out loud to you. You'll use coding and scoring from the Benchmark Assessment System to keep track of errors and self-corrections as well as accurate reading. You will be able to analyze the errors. After the oral reading passage, begin part 2, the comprehension conversation. Using the prompts provided, you will engage in a conversation with the students. The purpose of this is to get at the student's understanding of the text. The understandings are broken down into 3 areas: thinking within the text, thinking beyond the text, and thinking about the text. And within the text, we're trying to determine the student's understanding by asking them summarizing questions. In the beyond part of the assessment, thinking beyond the text, we're looking at the student's ability to infer, synthesize, make connections, and predict. At lower level texts, A through K, we are also trying to get at thinking about the text but that expands as we get higher into the levels of text. So to look at their critiquing and analyzing of the text given. The final part of the assessment, again, is optional. It's writing about reading. There's one prompt provided where the student can go away and write about the text that they have just read. The goal of the benchmark assessment. So after doing the assessments, the goal is to determine the student's independent, instructional, and hard reading level, so that you may use this information to determine a placement level for them to do guided reading or instructional actions for them. Assessment summary will be helpful to determine where to go next. So here's one of the assessment summary forms that you can use. So if student began with the level H trucks, we have some information there, and it was deemed to be an independent text. And then moving on, the student did another text, the best cat, and we're looking to see what level of text that is for them. So we knew that the student read at an accuracy rate of 93, had a 5 out of 6 score on their comprehension. And so we can use that information on the chart below to determine what is their text level. So 93% with a proficiency of 5 out of 6, this text was deemed to be instructional. There's a similar chart there for text levels L through Z. You'll just note that the accuracy score is much more stringent. So once you gather this information, where to next? So within the kit, there's another resource, the Founders of Pinnell Literacy Continuum book. And there's lots of information in there on independent reading, whole class reading, shared reading, and a large section on guided reading. And it's all based around this Systems of Strategic Actions diagram, where we're looking at the student's understanding of the text, thinking within the text, beyond the text, and about the text. So if you look at that guided reading section, for each level of text, you will be given ideas, instructional actions that focus on behaviors and understandings to notice and teach and support for thinking within the text, thinking beyond the text, and thinking about the text. So if you are interested in learning more about the benchmark assessment system and all the components of the assessment, an LKDSB video series has been created. So there will be a series of on-demand videos that you'll be able to go through and watch and listen and review and revisit about all the parts of the assessment. They will be shared soon, and you'll have access through your LKDSB login.